Hello, I'm Richard Eijo with the Elliott Eijo Group, and in this video, I'm going to explain how maintenance requests are handled, why we maintain a $500 maintenance reserve for your property, and what happens when an emergency repair is reported. Our goal is to respond to legitimate maintenance needs promptly while protecting your property, controlling cost, and keeping you informed. Having a clear process allows us to take care of smaller repairs efficiently while still involving you when larger decisions need to be made. At the beginning of management, we collect a $500 maintenance reserve for your property. It is important to understand that this is not a fee paid to our company. The reserve remains your money and is held so that funds are immediately available when an approved property expense or repair is needed. This helps prevent delays caused by waiting for an owner payment before a vendor can begin work. If management services end, any unused portion of the reserve will be returned to you after outstanding invoices, repairs, and other property expenses have been finalized. When a tenant reports a maintenance issue, we do not automatically send a vendor without first reviewing the situation. Our team gathers information, reviews photographs or videos when available, and walks the tenant through reasonable troubleshooting steps. Simple issues such as a trip breaker, a clogged air conditioning drain line, or a garbage disposal that needs to be reset may sometimes be resolved without a service call. We also evaluate whether the repair appears to be an owner responsibility, a tenant responsibility, or an issue that requires additional investigation. If professional service is needed, we assign the request to an appropriate vendor and continue monitoring it until the issue has been addressed. Your management agreement gives us authorization to handle routine repairs up to the established maintenance limit, which is generally $500. This does not mean that we automatically spend $500 every time a request is submitted. It means we can approve a necessary repair within that limit without delaying the work while waiting to reach you. For example, if a licensed plumber determines that a failed garbage disposal can be replaced for $350, we may authorize that repair, pay the vendor, and provide the invoice on your owner statement. If a non-emergency repair is expected to exceed the authorization limit, we will generally contact you with the available information, provide an estimate, and recommended next steps before approving the larger expense. Let's look at an example of how the reserve works. Suppose a garbage disposal needs to be replaced, and the total vendor invoice is $350. That invoice may be paid using the money held in your maintenance reserve. After the invoice is paid, the reserve balance would temporarily decrease from $500 to $150. When the next tenant payment or other owner funds become available, the reserve would be replenished by $350 before the remaining proceeds are dispersed to you. Your monthly owner statement will show the repair expense, the reserve activity, and a copy of the vendor invoice for your records. If the available rent proceeds are not sufficient to pay a major expense or restore the reserve, we may request additional funds from you. We maintain a network of vendors who understand the needs of occupied rental properties. Our vendors are required to carry appropriate insurance, and when a professional license is required for their trade, maintain the necessary licensing. We work to use vendors who are responsive, competitively priced, and willing to document the work they perform. Paying our vendors promptly also helps us maintain good relationships and receive reliable service for the properties we manage. The cost of the repair, along with the maintenance coordination fee described in your management agreement, will appear on your owner statement. Our standard maintenance coordination fee is 10% of the vendor invoice, with a maximum coordination fee of $200 per repair. If you have a preferred vendor you would like us to consider, please provide that information before a repair occurs so we can confirm that the vendor meets the licensing, insurance, availability, and communication requirements for an occupied rental property. Tenants have access to a 24-hour emergency maintenance reporting system. However, a request is not automatically considered an emergency simply because the tenant labels it as one. We evaluate the nature of the problem, the potential for injury, the risk of additional property damage, and whether essential services have been affected. Examples may include an active water leak, a sewage backup, fire or smoke, exposed electrical wiring, a property that cannot be secured, or the loss of heating or air conditioning during dangerous weather conditions. When an actual emergency occurs, our first responsibility is to protect the occupants, prevent further property damage, and stabilize the situation. The normal repair authorization limit does not prevent us from responding to a genuine emergency. For example, If a pipe bursts inside a wall on a Saturday night, waiting for normal business hours could cause thousands of dollars in additional damage. We may need to dispatch an emergency plumber, stop the water, remove standing water, or take other reasonable steps to stabilize the property. Emergency service can cost more because of after-hours labor, immediate response requirements, or specialized equipment. We will make reasonable efforts to contact you, but protecting the property and its occupants may require us to act before receiving your approval. Once the immediate danger has been controlled, we will communicate what occurred, explain any additional work that may be needed, and develop a plan with you for the permanent repair. Not every inconvenient maintenance issue requires an after-hours emergency service call. A slowly dripping faucet, a broken dishwasher, minor cosmetic damage, or another issue that is not creating an immediate safety concern or risk of additional damage can usually be scheduled during normal business hours. This distinction is important because unnecessary emergency dispatches can substantially increase the cost of a repair. We take every maintenance request seriously, but we also evaluate the appropriate level and timing of the response so that your money is used responsibly. Our maintenance process is designed to balance three important responsibilities: protecting your property, managing expenses responsibly, and providing tenants with a safe and properly maintained home. Prompt maintenance can prevent a small problem from becoming a larger and more expensive repair. It can also improve tenant satisfaction and help retain responsible tenants. Turnover and vacancy are often among the largest expenses a rental property owner will experience, so addressing legitimate maintenance concerns is an important part of protecting the long-term performance of your investment. Your $500 reserve gives us the ability to respond efficiently, while your owner statements, invoices, and our communication process allow you to remain informed. Thank you for trusting the Elliott Eijo Group with the management of your property.